어쩜 이렇게 시간이 안 가는지 정말 버스 안에서 고잉 이불 속에서 고잉 고잉은 언제나 너에게 고잉
Bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole crowd is looking at her. She's the floor, next thing you know,
So, maayong adlaw sa inyong tanan or a pleasant day to everyone. My name is Flarfi Arhimsola, and today we're going to talk about how to communicate effectively in a global society. So first, let us define communication. So communication is essential for personal and professional effectiveness. It helps establish good relationships, creates a better working environment, as well as promote collaboration and cooperation, and lastly, it unifies conflicting ideas with other people. The last thing is we're going to discuss about the global society. So global society is about being interconnected with the help of technologies, and communication is the essential elements for this. It becomes more efficient and faster through the use of technologies, and communication can function effectively. And we all know that globalization is that we are part of the globalization, and it requires effective communication skills. We are college students or everyone who are students and workers, and to cope with the demands and challenges of communication, we need to know how to communicate effectively with others, or how to communicate effectively in a global society. Communicating effectively with people of different backgrounds, ages, culture, gender, beliefs, orientations, preferences, and status is really important to avoid conflict with other or misunderstanding. So I'm going to give some tips about how to communicate effectively in a global society. So the first one is to express your ideas effectively in verbal, non-verbal, and written forms, either digital. It depends on the environment where you prefer. So I'm going to give about the verbal communication example. So for example is, I have a group meeting and I explain our project strategy concisely using clear and organized language. I also encourage collecting their ideas. In that way, we can create an open dialogue to ensure that everyone understood and contribute their parts fairly with the group. Example of nonverbal is, while doing a presentation, I maintain an eye contact with my group mates or my classmates, and use expressive gestures to emphasize key points, and then posture like this which help my group mates to understand everything what I have said to them. And the example of written communication or through digital is to example, you are a business owner and you want to send a letter to your potential client or potential customer. So that's why by sending them an email and making it detailed, you can communicate with them in that way. And the second tips for communicating effectively in a global society is number 2 is to use effective listening skills, this one is to evaluate arguments and rationalize judgment, and improve job effectiveness and work relationship. For example, scenario is, during a group meeting, a member presented an idea which is I initially disagreed with, and instead of immediately ignoring it, I actively listened to their reasoning, asking and clarifying questions for better understanding their perspective and consider their ideas. I realized their ideas is essential. Therefore, I adjusted my judgment and openly discussed the advantages and disadvantages. This not only improved the quality of our decision but also improved relationship, as my member felt heard and respected, which leads to a more effective collaboration within the group. The third tips is to communicate with a purpose to a variety of audience. Example, I have a group project that involves students. So to effectively communicate with our projects and to set our goals and our progress. When presenting to my classmates majoring in BSBA Financial Management, I tend to focus on the potential market impact, revenues projections, and business strategy. The 4 tips of effective communication in a global society is to promote collaboration and cooperation with others. And a great example for this one is I already talked about it and situation number 2. And the 5th tips for effective communication in a global society is to understand the concept of diversity and promote respect all the time. Which is example for this one is I already mentioned it in scenario number 2. And the last tips for this one is to use technology and social media responsibly. So when I said about using social media and technology responsibly is all about, for example, double checking the accuracy of an information before sharing it your social media profiles, and ensuring that your posts and comments are respectful and constructive, which promotes positive interactions rather than engaging in an online arguments. So this responsible approach to technologies and social media not only maintain our reputation but also contributed to a more respectful and productive online environment. So use social media rightly and effectively. So that's all. This is Flower PR Misola, your information giver for today. So bye bye and thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something from me today.